Hi, I'm Olivier.
And I'm Rose.
And you're listening to
Olivier and Rose, the podcast where two girls get drunk and watch movies that Katie,
that's me,
has never seen. Katie, what movie did we watch today?
Moulin Rouge.
Ooh. Girl, you fancy.
Thank you. That was my sassy voice.
So, before we get started, Katie, how was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was fucking bomb.com. There was so much food. I totally forgot that my dad, well, both of my parents have, like, the too much gene.
Mm-hmm.
Where they just do
the
too much
gene.
Yeah, and I've gotten it because I got it from both sides. My dad loves seafood, and Bae came to Thanksgiving, and Bae likes seafood, so my dad was like, okay, he bought 5 pounds of lobster.
That's
scallops.
Too many for
shrimp,
4 people.
And I feel like he bought one other thing.
So, Moulin Rouge. Very sad. It's fine.
We're gonna try to uplift it here.
It's fine, I just cried. Let's record a comedy podcast.
It's not like a regular podcast. It's a fun podcast.
Moulin Rouge, released in 2001.
I find all of these things to be very interesting, because I think 2001 was like 2 years ago.
Wait, yeah, because that was 17 years ago.
Wait, how old was I in 2001?
I looked it up and it said I would be like 9 or 10, so I assumed you would be 10 or 11.
Yep. Oh, those were some years. Those are some awkward ones. Oh, God.
It was written by Baz Luhrmann, Craig Pierce, and it was directed by Baz Luhrmann.
Okay.
He is also the one who directed, and I believe wrote, the Romeo plus Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. Did you ever see that one?
Nope.
Okay. It's the same kind of just recording style. The main cast is Nicole Kidman, Ian McGregor, John Leguizamo, I believe is how you say his name. He's also in Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, yep.
Jim Broadbent and Richard Roxburgh. So Jim Broadbent is the one who played Zidler.
Yep. Okay.
I feel like you would recognize him. One, he plays Slughorn in Harry Potter.
Oh, yep.
But more importantly, since you're not a huge Harry Potter fan, is he was the Archmaester in Game of Thrones. The one that, like, Sam goes to in the, I believe, the latest season.
Oh, he's, like, so much older and, like, skinnier?
Yes. I mean, this was 17 years ago.
Right. But, okay.
Yeah, my sister texted me, was like, oh my god, the Archmaester is Zidler from Moulin Rouge. And I was like, yes, he's also Slughorn.
Okay.
And then Richard Roxburgh is the one who plays the Duke.
Yes.
I wrote that he was in Van Helsing. I assumed you hadn't seen it, but I watched it at Halloween, and the whole time, he plays Dracula, and the whole time I was like, that guy looks really familiar. I wonder who that guy is. So, as usual, I'm going to give away the whole summary of the movie. So, like, if you haven't seen it, I don't know, either just listen to it and spoil everything, or go watch the movie and then come back.
Yeah.
So, in the year 1900, a British writer named Christian is in Paris, and he's soups depressed.
Yeah.
And he's writing on his typewriter about how sad he is. And he's just saying that, like, oh, I was totally in love, and the woman I loved is dead.
Can I just tell you that when it first started, everything was in black and white, and I thought that it was all going to be black and white, and I was going to kill you, because I hate that shit.
There's a movie we're watching in the next couple weeks that's going to be all black and white. I'm just forewarning you.
The whole thing? Can you tell me before I start watching it?
Yes,
so
I will tell
prepared? You. Okay.
So he's just talking about how he's totally in love, and then his love died, and the movie flashes back to Christian when he moves to the Montmartre district of Paris. It's the height of the Bohemian movement, and that's kind of where the Bohemian movement is happening. His father is basically just like, you have a ridiculous obsession with love. And so he moves into this apartment that kind of overlooks the Moulin Rouge, and the first day he's there, an unconscious Argentinian falls through his roof, and that's where we meet Toulouse-Lautrec, who's dressed as a nun. Toulouse asks Christian to help him write this play called Spectacular Spectacular, that they want to sell to the Moulin Rouge for a show.
Okay.
And Zidler, who's the owner. And basically what they're saying is, like, they come up with a plan. They're like, oh, we're going to sell it to the Moulin Rouge through Satine. We're going to get Christian to meet with Satine, and he's going to sell it to the Moulin Rouge. So they all go to the Moulin Rouge. There's this fabulous dance scene where they sing the song, but it's the...
Lady Marmalade?
Yes.
Okay, the entire time I was like, where's Christina? When is she coming out?
So.
Because honestly, I didn't think that this one... I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna try to get into my thoughts already because, first of all, I thought Catherine Zeta-Jones was in it.
Nope, that's Chicago.
Yeah. I realized that once, it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, well, Lady Marmalade.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Catherine Zeta-Jones is not in that song, but Maya is. And Maya is also in Chicago.
Well, I didn't know that, but I just thought, like, burlesque, whatever. Oh, I really hurt myself.
Oh, yeah, burlesque was good. It was actually pretty crap, but it was good.
Yes. Okay, so I'm, like, a lot of confused because I feel like there's a lot of... obviously, burlesque was probably based off of that kind of stuff. I didn't know that this was made for Moulin Rouge. So, like, was Moulin Rouge, like, written in 2001?
Patti LaBelle sang the original in 1975. I'm very sorry, everybody.
So this wasn't based off of that, then?
Yeah, I lied. So they are like, oh, you're gonna meet with Satine, and that's how we're gonna sell it to Zidler. They go to the Moulin Rouge. There's this whole solid dance number with all the can-can dancers. And so in that dance number, the can-can dancers lift up their dresses a lot, which I always kind of just accepted. But I read that the can-can dancers at the actual Moulin Rouge didn't wear undies.
They're just flashing their kitty left and right. That makes sense, I think. Just full bush out. Yeah, it's basically like having your own set of undies.
Just shave
always
your
on
vagina,
you.
just in case.
Maybe they did it. Who knows? But I feel like all they had was like straight razors. You don't want to nick that shit. No ladies. Yeah, so I would probably be rocking a full bush if that was the case.
Yep.
If that was the alternative. The sliced up kitty cat.
Oh. So, go to the Moulin Rouge, have a crazy show, it's great. And then, so, Christian, basically what happens is, like, Zidler and Satine are the center of the show, and she's like, oh, which one's the Duke? And he's like, oh, the one taking the hanky from Toulouse. And when she looks, Christian's taking, like, Toulouse is taking a hanky from Christian. And then she's like, really, are you sure? And when Zidler looks, the Duke is fighting with Toulouse. So, yes. He's like, yeah, I'm sure. So, Christian goes up to the elephant with Satine and has this whole, like, she's super weird the whole time because she thinks he's the Duke. So, she's, like, being all sexual. And she's like, yeah, let's do this. And my favorite part is when she's rolling in the blanket.
Yeah.
And then Christian starts singing. And let's flash back a little Baby Rose in 2001. Whoops. 2001.
When you were like 10.
When I was 10. And I watched this movie, which was totally inappropriate. But I watched it. And that was where my love for Ian McGregor started. When he goes, my gift is my soul. And I was like,
alright, sure,
okay,
I'll take that. Wrap it up.
Don't know what sex is, but bring it on over here, sir. Yep.
Put it on the Christmas tree. I'm opening it. Christmas morning!
But he sings to her.
Yep.
Obviously, she falls in love with him because, like, Ian McGregor singing. Yeah, cool, whatever, fine.
Yeah, sure, fine.
And they have this whole scene, and then she's like, I can't believe I'm in love with a beautiful, talented, handsome Duke. And he's like, I'm not a Duke. And then the actual Duke comes in, and they have this whole kerfuffle, and she has to hide him. That's when they sell Spectacular to the Duke, because obviously Toulouse and all the other people are watching, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's come in. Like, how's the emergency rehearsal going? Blah, 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 blah. And then after they show him all that, the Duke agrees to actually fund the show, so the Bohemians get what they want in the show funding, and like, the Duke gets what he wants because he thinks that Satine's in love with him, and Zidler gets what he wants because the Moulin Rouge is going to stay open. And Satine gets what she wants because she's not going to be a can-can dancer anymore. She's going to be a real actress. Whatever, bitch. Okay. Just kidding. Love Nicole Kidman. She is a real actress. Did you see Big Little Lies? Because it was...
Bomb diggity. Did you see the second season, or is that not out yet?
It's not out yet.
No.
After that whole thing, everyone's having a party up in Toulouse's apartment, and Christian's just creepily watching Satine. Is like, I'm thinking about her. Was she thinking about me? And so he goes back, and they sing the best compilation of songs of the whole movie, and they fall in love, and then they make out. In case anyone missed that, she says, you're gonna be bad for business, I can tell.
And she sticks her tongue down his throat.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
Clear your sinuses by pushing gin through it. I don't remember what I was talking about.
You're gonna be bad for business.
You're gonna be bad for business. I can tell. Okay. So, they convince the Duke to fund this show, where an Indian courtesan falls in love with a penniless sitar player instead of the evil Maharaja. Which is basically Satine falling in love with Christian and not the Duke. So they based their whole show off their real life.
Yes.
Which absolutely screws them over in the end. Because Nini...
That's her name?
That's her name.
Bitch.
Who's a huge bitch and is like, oh, this ending makes no sense. Why would the courtesan go for the penniless writer? Oops, I mean sitar player. Fuck you, Nini.
Yeah.
So, Satine tells Christian, oh, like, everyone knows, Ziedler knows, the Duke is gonna know soon, I have to sleep with him, you're gonna be super jealous, we have to break up.
Right.
And Christian's like, no, it's okay, we'll write this lover song for the play, and we'll know whenever we sing it that, like, anything, no matter what happens, we'll be together because we love each other.
Just a hopeless romantic that Christian is.
I know. So he writes a song, Come What May, it's great. Satine goes to sleep with the Duke, and she sees Christian singing, obviously, and she gets all sad and tells the Duke no, so he flips out, and pretty much, or not pretty much, he legit almost rapes her. Until, I believe his name is Chocolat, his name, that black guy's name is literally like chocolate.
Jesus Christ.
Punches the Duke in the face and saves Satine.
Thank God for Chocolat.
And Satine comes back to Christian. She's like, I can't do it. I can't. I realized, like, I saw you and I just realized how much I love you and I couldn't do it. So she goes back. After Satine goes to Christian and says she can't do it, she goes back to the Moulin Rouge and she tells Ziedler that. She's like, honestly, fuck you guys. Fuck this show. I don't care about being a real actress. I love Christian. And Ziedler's like, that's cool. You're dying. So basically, like, save the Moulin Rouge before you die.
Yeah.
By sleeping with the Duke. So she has to go convince Christian that she's not in love with him. So she goes and dumps him, and it's super sad. Shed one single tear there.
Right.
And then, so the night of the show, they changed the ending of the show so that the, I can't remember, Maharaja ends up with the courtesan instead of the penniless sitar player.
Because the Duke found out and he was like, I don't understand.
I don't like this ending. Meh meh.
Why would anybody like a penniless sitar player?
So then the night of the show, Christian shows up and he's like, I've come to pay my whore, and throws all this money at her. And then she sings the cute
okay,
song.
dramatic.
Dramatic. And then Toulouse is like, oh shit, I forgot my line. And he yells, the greatest thing you've ever learned is just to love and be loved in return. And then, Satine's like, yeah, totally great. Yep, that was your line. So she starts singing their cute little lover song that they wrote. Then Christian's like, oh yeah, she does totally love me. And so he goes and sings with her, and the Duke's little henchman tries to kill Christian, and then Ziedler punches the Duke in the face so that he can't do anything. And Satine and Christian are like, yay, we're totally in love, yay! And then she fucking dies.
Yeah. Bye.
And it's very sad. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah. It was really sad. Mostly because Christian was crying.
And, like, that whole last scene where he's holding her, and she's like, write our story, Christian.
Yeah, that's sad.
And Ian McGregor is crying, and therefore, because he's crying, he kind of loses whatever the, like, English accent, and his Scottish accent comes out, and he's like, I can't live without you. But he says it with a Scottish accent. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, it's the end of the movie, is that he writes their story.
It's beautiful.
But what I do really, really love is that in the beginning of the movie, it starts with Toulouse singing from the top of the Moulin Rouge windmill. Right. And then it all kind of comes full circle and it ends with that. Yep. And that's the whole Moulin Rouge movie.
I think I like it better now that I knew that it wasn't like an older movie remade.
No. So, Katie.
Yes, queen.
J rating. Before you say it. I want to guess I'm real excited because I love this movie so much, and last week we talked about how we were going to find a movie that you said hell yeah to, and I kind of hope that you say hell yeah to this.
I don't want to, like, tell the kids that Santa Claus isn't real. Oh, fuck.
Oh!
I just did. You know what? I would give this movie...
Hell yeah.
Woo! I found one. I found a movie that Katie gave a hell yeah to. I found one. I found a movie that Katie gave a hell yeah to.
I had low expectations down to the flow expectations because I honestly didn't know what this was going to be about. Or, like I said, I thought fucking Catherine Zeta-Jones was going to be in it. So that's how I didn't know anything.
So, remember, I know we talked quickly about it last week, but when you're like, oh, I hate musicals, and I was like, this movie doesn't use the songs to move the story along.
Also,
they just embellish it.
I liked it more because it wasn't like their own songs that I'd never heard before. They kind of made renditions of actual songs.
Yes.
Yeah, and I liked that.
Yep.
So that made me happy.
Perfect. I'm glad. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I know.
So, I have a lot of fun facts this week.
Okay.
Less are about the movie itself,
Mm-hmm.
more are just about the Moulin Rouge in Paris in general. The first kind of section I have is about Henry de Toulouse-Lautrec, who's the short little guy.
Yes.
He is played by John Leguizamo, whatever.
Yeah.
And he, like I said earlier, was in Romeo plus Juliet. He played Tybalt. So, Baz Luhrmann kind of just cast him in his shows.
Mm-hmm.
But Toulouse-Lautrec was a real person. He was a French painter who was one of the best-known post-impressionists in that time, along with the likes of Van Gogh, essentially.
Okay.
The reason he's so short is because at the age of 13, he fractured his right femur, and at the age of 14, he fractured his left.
Okay.
And they didn't heal properly, and they never grew again.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, he only was 4'8".
Interesting.
That's
shorter than you.
Yeah, shorter than me.
Hmm.
Part of the reason historians think that this was an issue is that his parents were first cousins.
Oh.
So they think there was a lot of, inbreeding going on, and that was probably part of his health issues.
Okay.
He died at the age of 36.
Okay.
From alcoholism and syphilis.
Ooh, the bad duo.
Which... I was thinking about it when we were watching it, when Christian's all sad after Satine breaks up with him, and Toulouse is like, I know you think all of my friends are just whores, and, I just drink a lot.
Interesting. At least he got laid.
So much.
Yeah.
Apparently, in this movie.
Enough to catch syphilis.
But yeah, IRL, enough to catch syphilis.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it only takes one, but, how many people have syphilis? Actually, I don't know. Could be a lot. This is a PSA, people.
So... the reason I believe that Toulouse is a character in this movie at all is because he has a very famous painting called At the Moulin Rouge.
Yep.
Which was written sometime in between 1892 and 1895.
Written or painted?
Painted.
Oh,
I said written. Painted.
I'm just kidding.
It's an 1890s painting.
Right.
But it's called At the Moulin Rouge. I think that's the reason why he's in it. Mm-hmm. That's Toulouse-Lautrec.
Interesting. I think it's weird how, they didn't find someone short to play the role. They just kind of I feel like they could have just made him seem shorter, or put his head on a body that's shorter. I feel like that happens.
It does. I feel like it does as well. I had a lot of fun looking up these fun facts and kind of figuring out about the Moulin Rouge and about the movie in general. The first one is, hi!
I've got a friend.
This is Rita the Potato Cat.
Follow her on Instagram. This cat has a Star Wars car because she's a nerd.
Fun fact that you bring up Star Wars.
Wow, transitions for days.
So, the movie was filmed at Fox Studios in Australia, which is super convenient for Nicole Kidman and Baz Luhrmann because they're both Australian.
Yep.
Also super convenient for Ian McGregor because that's the same studios where they were filming Star Wars Episode 1, in which he played a character. Do you know which character, Katie?
Han Solo. Did I get that right? What's the other one's name? Wait.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. That's a real person? This is the machine one. I've never seen Star Wars.
We're gonna watch Star Wars eventually. Okay.
What's the golden one?
C-3PO.
I thought that was the...
C-3PO is the gold one. The little one is R2-D2.
Oh, yeah. So much letters and numbers.
Oh my god. Okay. Where Ian McGregor plays Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's where I know I'm from, even though I've never seen the movie.
Anyways, they filmed at the Fox Studios, so it's super convenient for everyone, including Ian McGregor, because that's where they're going to film Star Wars. But Moulin Rouge took too long, so they got kicked out so that Star Wars could start filming. So, when we were watching it, the Green Fairy, like the Absinthe Green Fairy, you went, oh, is that Kylie Minogue? It is. Ozzy Osbourne originally did the voice for that, and then they decided to go with the softer Kylie Minogue, but when her eyes turn red and she yells, that's still Ozzy Osbourne's yell.
Oh, interesting. Well, also, nobody can fucking understand Ozzy Osbourne.
Exactly.
I saw The Osbournes. I loved that show. That was like one of the original reality TV shows. It was great.
It was so good.
I love it.
This fact. I feel like I've done a lot of facts with numbers, like how many times fuck is said, or just how many times, like, Boondock Saints was 33, one cat was the number of kills. So I feel like, I don't know if it's just the movies we've watched, but I've gotten numbers, facts.
Yep.
For Moulin Rouge, the word love and all its variants, lover, loves, stuff like that, is used 143 times.
Lord of mercy.
This alludes to the fact that I love you is like one letter, 4 letters, 3 letters.
1 for 3.
Yep. And it's used 143 times in the movie.
Oh, shit. That's crazy, Rita.
Okay, so the Zidler character, who we already talked about, played the Archmaester, is supposedly based, or not based, but named after Charles Zidler in the movie. His name is Harry Zidler, but he's based after Charles Zidler, who was the first manager of the real Moulin Rouge.
Interesting. Okay.
So, in the movie, we see that obviously the Eiffel Tower has lights. There's a bunch of lights that come on. The windmill on the Moulin Rouge has lights. The Moulin Rouge was actually one of the first buildings in Paris to have lights. In 1899, which is when the movie is set, is when the Moulin Rouge put lights on its windmill. And it was one of the first buildings to have lights. And then, the last thing, so the, like, elephant that they sing in.
It was super cool, by the way.
Super cool was real.
Stop.
So it used to have a garden, which, like, if you watch the movie, there's, like, the entrance to the Moulin Rouge, and then there's this whole section with the elephant in it, and then you enter the Moulin Rouge. The elephant is not there anymore, but these are kind of like the photos.
Oh, shit.
So that's like the front, and you can see the elephant there, and you can see that even, like, the top part where they have that whole, like, ballad is there.
That's cool.
The elephant is not there anymore. It got torn down. The original Moulin Rouge burnt down in the Great Paris Fire, but the elephant was gone before that. They just tore it down. But yeah, that's the last fun fact, is that the Moulin Rouge has had originally the garden and the elephant.
I love that elephant. I think that was, like, the coolest part. I wish I could... Was she, like, living there?
I think that's just her kind of, like...
Boudoir.
Yep, that one. But yes.
Interesting. It was pretty cool, though. I liked it a lot. Yeah, like I said, I like this movie more knowing that it actually isn't, like, an older movie. That's, like...
Yeah, like, it's not a remake.
This is, like, the original one. Had no idea Ian McGregor was going to be in there. Had no idea Nicole Kidman was in there. So, like, when she showed up, I was like, oh, shit.
See, I try not to tell you things about the movie so that you will be surprised by them, but there's also certain things, like the fact that the main actors are Ian McGregor and Nicole Kidman, that I'm like, I won't have to tell her that. She'll know.
Nope. I don't know. I have zero clue. I liked this movie. I had no idea what was happening. I kind of liked how, like, obviously you know that Satine was gonna die, but I honestly thought she was gonna die, like, in a more tragic way. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, she was gonna, like, go to the Duke and, like, he was gonna, like, accidentally kill her, or, like, she was gonna die when she was just with him, and then it was gonna be even more tragic. So I kind of am glad that she like, died in his arms. Which is super sad. But, like...
This sounds so fucking pathetic.
I always thought it was gonna be, like, worse.
Yeah, like the first time know when she's supposed to go to the tower and then also supposed to go see Christian and she actually gets sick and he's like,
right,
where were you?
Yeah.
So like we did last week, we already got your rating, but 1, your favorite part or like what stuck with you the most, and then I guess who do you relate to the most in the movie?
Okay. Well, I also just want to mention that what's his name? John Leguizamo. Leguizamo. What does he play? What's his name?
He's Toulouse.
Toulouse, when he's dressed up as the sitar, he literally looks like a dick and balls.
Yep, fair.
Yeah.
Especially before he has, like, the sitar on, when he just has kind of, like, the outline.
Yes, and it's pretty fucking funny, and I love that.
Episode number 4, You're Welcome, Sanjay, where we talk about penises.
Yeah. In a row. And it's so funny because he literally only drinks absinthe.
He really does.
What's your favorite?
My favorite part is the part where Christian comes back and they sing that song at the top of the elephant.
Okay. I kind of like the, like, first time that Christian goes to the Moulin Rouge. Like, that whole performance and everything in it.
It's very, like high action, or not high action, but just like high energy.
Yes, flashing kitties everywhere. Like, oh, maybe that was when I think that's. I don't know. That might have been when you got gin up your nose.
Maybe, but who knows?
Yeah,
we'll find out.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like that was the most crazy one, and like all those different versions of songs were being sung and all that stuff, and I liked that a lot. That was probably my favorite part.
That's good. It's a good part.
And then, who do I relate to the most? Jeez, I don't know. I don't know if I really relate to anyone the most. I know that I usually find out who I hate the most, and that's clearly the Duke. I just never understood why a man is, like, clearly getting rejected, but then still wants to, like, buy.
And the fact that the Duke, like, thinks, like, is convinced that Satine loves him, whatever, but even when he finds out that she doesn't, and he's like, I want her back, like, I'm gonna kill Christian. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like, that's what's gonna work. Yeah. Why do you want someone who doesn't want you? That's like when men pay for prostitutes.
You to want me.
Like, I guess you just want to, like, pretend to feel like someone likes you. And she's, like, is a good actress, but, like, you really know deep down that, like, they don't like you.
Because she doesn't love you. Him. She doesn't love him.
I feel like that's weird. But, I mean, it's been happening for years on years and years, and it's, like, really not that far-fetched of a thing, so.
I feel like I relate to Toulouse the most.
Yeah.
Because...
he's little.
Yes. Because he's little.
And likes to party.
Not even the fact that he loves to party, but the fact that he's just like, she still loves you.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but I believe that she still loves you.
Yeah.
And
he kind of comes in and just, like, says, like, one-liners to help, like, comfort a friend.
Yeah, it's super corny, but, like, since I've been with Connor for 9 years, I'm like, yeah, no, there's a reason she wouldn't leave him. Like, there's a reason. I believe in love. I get it.
Yeah.
So I relate with Toulouse, because all you need is love.
All you need is love.
Do, 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 do. All you need is love. Do, 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 do. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
Wow. We're gonna take this show on the road, ladies and gentlemen.
We sing a lot on this podcast.
I know. We sing a lot, and I always break out in a British accent every episode, even if someone's not...
We're British. We're not British. We're not British.
Even if, you know, nothing about the movie we're covering has anything to do with...
Which, honestly, so, like, I was thinking about it very near the end of the movie. Ian McGregor is Scottish. He's supposed to be playing an Englishman, which he does a English accent very well. Nicole Kidman is Australian. She does a American accent very well, what she does in this movie. This whole movie takes place in France, and not a single person has a French fucking accent.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it when I was younger, but now I'm like...
That is weird.
Like, Zedler's the owner of the Moulin Rouge, and you're gonna tell me
Yeah.
that he is gonna sound a little bit French? Like, he's not even
Yeah.
gonna... I don't know.
Right, pretend.
Yeah.
That's true. Is the Duke French?
They never explain. They just... I don't know.
I feel like he just talks weird. I like this movie. I would recommend it.
Would you watch it again?
Yeah, I'd probably watch it again. If I watched it again, I would probably.
Well, because, like, I said last week, I was like, oh, I'll cry. And I was tearing up a little bit at some part. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they, like... Because I knew what was coming, as soon as they get to the part where they start doing the show, I was like...
Just hiding your face.
But when I looked over and you were crying, I was like, yes, I know that Katie's gonna like this movie.
Yes, that was a good one.
Moulin Rouge, good one. Katie liked it. Katie liked it. Katie liked it.
Yeah!
Katie liked it. Katie liked it. Oh, sorry, I'm a little over energetic. It's Friday night. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's a weekend now.
Yay.
I'm ready. Not ready. I've been drinking. I was gonna say I'm ready for drinking, but I have been drinking.
I've been doing it.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time. Please support this podcast.
Please.
We love you.
We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter.
We have apparently a large following in Sweden. So, like...
You say large like it's a big thing. There's followers in Sweden.
Yeah. So, shout out to you guys.
Yo, what up?
I hope I haven't scared you away and you're still listening. And I hope you still listen.
But, like, if this is your first listen to the podcast...
Yeah. You should stick around.
Great
listen
for
to
you.
the old
Stick
shit.
around. Yep.
You should judge it.
Maybe don't listen to episode 1, but every episode after that.
Yeah, do that. I think a lot of people listen to episode 1 and they're like, fuck these girls.
This shit. Yep. We promise we get better.
Yeah. That's why I think we need to Instagram live us chugging syrup.
I'm totally down for us chugging syrup.
We should talk about the fact that Mrs. Butterworth is actually the bottle.
Sorry. Corrections, I guess, from last week. Katie and I had a long conversation.
about Aunt Jemima. And then I was thinking the, like, bottle shape of a woman was Aunt Jemima. It's not.
It's Mrs. Buttersworth.
Yes. So my mom was talking to Mrs. Butterworth this whole time.
Not Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
And I didn't break an Aunt Jemima bottle.
Well, I feel like there was another one, but I don't remember. It actually probably was just that one.
I think it was just that one this week.
Well, next week...
You know, if you have errors, tweet us. Tweet us! We have a Twitter, and I know I already said that, but honestly, though, follow us at Twitter. On Twitter. I don't know how social media works.
I'm gonna start tweeting.
I'm
gonna start to tweet. But, yeah, there's probably gonna be corrections next time.
So many corrections.
So, basically, we're glad that you guys listen, because we love you, and we love the support, and I feel like more people listen to this podcast than I ever thought would listen to this podcast, so that's pretty cool. So tell your friends, tell your mammy, tell your pappy, tell your neighborhood Applebee's hostess.
Tell them to find us on Twitter at Olivier Rose Pod.
Yeah.
On Instagram at Olivier_Rose_pod.
Mm-hmm.
That's Olivier OLIVIER _ROSE
POD. Yeah, we're more active on Insta because
Insta's more for kind of our age group.
Yeah.
Twitter's too young for us. I try, but it's too young.
Is it? I don't even know. I just think that, like, I'd rather not read and just look at pretty pictures.
I want to look at photos.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes even memes are too much for me because I have to read too much.
And I'm working on a website so that we can have a Patreon.
Yeah, we recorded most of this particular podcast video recorded it, so maybe we'll put that up there.
So that when I set up a pod or a website, and then I set up a Patreon, then we can post the video that we recorded, which includes me shooting gin out of my nose.
Yeah, you need to see it. You need to see it.
It was rough. Okay, anyways, that's our podcast. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, we love you. Bye.
Bye.
The lover ending is so annoying.
It's so annoying.